All right. The Board of Licensed Professional Counselors and Therapists will now convene in public session at 3:04 p.m. on Friday, August 7th. Members of the public are instructed to refrain from making comment during this meeting unless invited to do so. Those on Zoom, please remain muted unless speaking. Zoom attendees who disrupt the meeting may have their microphones muted, cameras turned off, or removed from the meeting, as may in-person attendees who disrupt the meeting. We are now in public session. Any announcements?
Was I supposed to say something about the conference?
That's on the agenda later, Tom.
Thank you.
Yep, coming up.
We need to do a roll call.
Roll call.
Yep, roll call before we get into the rest of the agenda, Mr. Chair.
Got it. Roll call. Tom.
Here.
Aaron.
Here.
Adriana.
Here.
Brian.
Here.
Tara.
Here.
Lori and Chung Fan are excused.
And Mr. Chair, this is Rachel Bertone. Just for the record, I've got two law clerks who are visiting with us, Jessica and Colton.
Great.
All right.
Consumer protection cases?
Yes. Let's start with the continuing education audit. We have license number C5045 looking for a motion to issue a default order, including a $500 civil penalty and require licensee to complete 15 clock hours of CE within 30 days. Motion.
I second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Okay, we'll move into compliance. Case number 2024-138, looking for a motion to issue the stipulated final order. So move.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-010, looking for a motion to issue a default order.
This is Brian, I so move.
Daniel, I second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-053, looking for a motion to issue the stipulated final order. So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-219, looking for a motion to issue the stipulated final order. So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-233, looking for a motion to issue a default order. So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-010, looking for a motion to issue a default order. So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-019, looking for a motion to issue the stipulated final order. So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-023, looking for a motion to issue a default order. So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-057, looking for a motion to issue a default order.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Moving into Consumer Protection Committee. Case number 2026-076, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-008, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-070, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-106, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Audrina Guerrero, I abstain.
Case number 2025-151, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing 3 CEs and costs.
So moved.
Second, roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2025-172, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-216, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-226, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a license revocation and costs.
So moved.
Second, Brian.
Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
I abstain.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2025-230, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-238, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-299, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing 6 CEs and costs.
So moved.
Second, roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2026-024, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a 12-month license suspension and costs.
So moved.
I'll second, Brian.
Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-074, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a $1,000 civil penalty and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-081, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-084, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a reprimand, a requirement to extend the period of registered associateship by 12 months, and to require disclosure to the registered associateship supervisor and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
I'm sorry, this is Council Rachel Bertoni.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we
okay.
missed a term there. Can we retake the motion? Would that be okay if I reread it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is, am I in the right? 026-084? I'm sorry, we're in the right case.
It was similar.
It was similar to another case that we'll vote on in a few minutes. I apologize. I didn't mean to disrupt things. I apologize.
no worries. We have our first. We have our first. We have our second. Let's redo the voting. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-093, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a $250 civil penalty and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-096, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing 3 CEs and costs.
Motion.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-098, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-113, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-119, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a license revocation and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2026-123, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a 2-year license suspension and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Cases number 2024-195, 2025-228, 2025-231, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing to extend the period of registered associateship by 12 months, to require bi-monthly written reports to the board by the registered associate supervisor during that period, to impose probation during that period, prohibiting serving as a primary facilitator for group therapy, to require a self-reflective essay of 1,500 words, to require 3 CEs, and to require disclosure to registered associate supervisor and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2025-050, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-104, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-105, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-119, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-134, looking for a motion to issue a notice proposing a $250 civil penalty and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, I.
Case number 2025-156, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-221, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-232, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone?
Brianna, nay.
Adriana opposed. Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-239, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
This is Daniel, I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-241, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2025-259, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-032, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-051, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Nice second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-052, looking for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
This is Daniel, I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Case number 2026-122, looking for a motion to issue a notice including a $250 civil penalty and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2024-049, looking for a motion to withdraw the amended notice issued on April 15th, 2026 and dismiss the case without prejudice.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2024-145, looking for a motion to issue a notice including a license revocation and costs.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Adriana,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Daniel, aye.
Case number 2026-025, looking for a motion to dismiss the case because it is duplicative of another case.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Looking for a motion to dismiss the following cases: 2025-142, 2025-222, 2025-247, 2025-248, 2025-251, 2026-073, 2026-089, 2026-104, 2026-107, 2026-111, 2026-114, 2026-117, 2026-120, and 2026-121.
So moved.
This is Daniel, I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
And lastly, looking for a motion to extend the 162 cases as listed.
So moved.
It's Daniel, I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right. We have our meeting minutes. Looks like
Real quick, Mr. Chair, we need a motion to approve the 233 new LPC and LMFT licenses submitted.
I make the motion that we approve them.
I second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Now we'll do meeting minutes. Looks like executive session from May 12th, 2026, public session from May 12th, 2026, executive session from June 5th, 2026, and public session from June 5th, 2026.
Just a note from staff, this is compliance specialist Michael Vile. We noticed that we accidentally put Dr. Nee as still vice chair. So we're going to be correcting that to Lori Henry.
For the previous meeting minutes. Got it.
Correct.
Great.
So moved.
Second with that correction. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right. Next, we'll jump into the administrative rulemaking. Larry isn't able to be here. I think Todd, you were going to go through some stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I am a very poor substitute for Larry, but I will take the board through that. So administrative rulemaking in your packet, you have the list of administrative rules. I'll try to be brief in my summary. OAR 833-050-0051, relocate and clarify registration effective date language from OAR 833-050-0061. Proposed amendment to 0061, repurpose the rule to cover the board's remedial action currently located under 0091 with changes to correspond with board authority and practice. Proposed repeal of 833-075-0040. That repeals an obsolete procedure for license duplication. Proposed amendment to 833-075-0070 creates exception for 7-year client records maintenance requirement when state or federal law requires a different retention period. That's just due to the fact that we learned from OIA there have been some recent changes to state laws around the expunction of juvenile records in terms of timing, automation, and records. Proposed amendment of OAR 833-080-0011 adds new CE-related definitions and reorganizes the language for clarity and brevity. OAR 833-080-0031 clarifies documentation of CE program completion and specifies activities that do not qualify, sets forth that programs completed to fulfill the terms of a board order or agreement do not qualify towards CE requirements for renewal or reinstatement. Proposed amendment of OAR 833-080-0041 adds various clarifications to methods of obtaining hours and reorganizes it to a more intuitive structure, establishes a limit of 20 clock hours which may be claimed for home study, and defines how the credit is awarded. Removes the requirement that CE has a minimum 1 clock hour duration and other requirements that are unnecessary or difficult to verify. There is a proposed amendment to OAR 833-080-0051, clarifies CE documentation requirements for each method of obtaining CE credit and the reporting period in which credit is attributed. Adds that the board may request additional documentation to verify eligibility. And lastly, but not lesser important, proposed amendment of 833-080-0061, clarifies the CE audit processes and updates outdated requirements. Adds a section scheduled for failure to respond to a CE audit. And Mr. Chair, so those are the lists that are in their package. Also in your package are the board received a significant amount of feedback on the 20 clock hour cap for home study. And that's been included in your packets. You can review that. This is a significant amount of feedback. Normally rulemaking does not garner that much. You know, we have the occasional support or maybe a couple of emails against. The opposition was in the areas of potential additional cost, potential added burden. You know, in reading it, there may still be some misunderstandings of what the board is actually doing within the rules. But that's you know, that said, this is I would call it a significant amount of feedback. In looking at that, if the board is curious of what options it might have, we did not receive any opposition, or I should say minimal opposition, if any, to any of the other items. Should the board decide to take this feedback, the opposition, into consideration, one thing the board could do is move, and I've got the language here, but you would move to issue a final notice with the amendment as discussed. And the amendment that the board could do is to remove the 20-hour cap. That does not mean the board's making a final decision that it would never do it, but it would allow the board some extra time to reconsider its messaging around it, reconsider its supportive information behind it, in case they want to take a look at it at a later date. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on it.
Yeah, and I think in addition, there was just some of the wording. Maybe there was some misunderstanding surrounding what the committee was trying to do as they went through that proposed rule. Just in a lot of the feedback, people were saying, "Oh, it's going to do this and this," and it's like, well, that's not actually what it says. And so even I had some of those misconceptions when I first read it. So just trying to clean some stuff up surrounding that. Brian.
Yeah, thank you. Curious if I think a part of the conversation, much of the conversation about these changes occurred prior to my time on the board. I'm curious if anyone can give some summary as to the reasoning for the limitation on the asynchronous hours and looking at the need for live seminars, et cetera. I'll note that I did recognize in the feedback that there was the misconception that meant you had to be in person at events, which is not what's intended by this. Is that correct? It's just that it's synchronous. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Yes.
requires travel, right? Okay.
Correct. And I think part of it is, I mean, you could get all of your continuing ed just from reading a couple packets and taking a test, or not even read the packet and take a test. And so it's just, with the uptick in cases and complaints, there's a lot of ethics not being followed in the field. And so just wanting to make sure people have the training that they need ongoing to help protect consumers and make sure therapists are ethical. I think the psychology board requires half to be live, and that there's other medical professional boards that are similar in that. But the last thing, there's a lot of potential hardships that people could encounter trying to do the live and or it doesn't have to be in person, but the live piece. I think that's part of it.
It sounds, in other words, that the discussion that was had previous must have concluded that there was some additional value to having live training, and you wanted to ensure that folks had a certain amount of that within their CE they complete for the requirements. Okay, so
yeah, and I don't think the graphs are included in here, but we do have the graphs that show the number of licensees in Oregon going up, but also the number of complaints going up, maybe a little bit higher. So it's like, okay, we have more licensees, but we're also having more complaints, maybe a little bit higher of a number than the number of licensees increasing. So I think that was a big, and I'm not on the education and committee, but two of the longtime people, Lori and Chung Fan, aren't here to discuss that. So we were looking at maybe putting that one to the side, not voting on that one today, just to allow a little bit more time and be able to share a little bit more info with with licensees before we look at moving forward with something like that.
Yeah, thank you. I would greatly suggest we do that. Obviously, the amount of feedback that we received is notable. I think, like you said, there are some misconceptions there, and there are some elements that folks may disagree with that may need to stand regardless. But I appreciate if we make that change or that delay.
Yeah,
refer on that today.
Yeah, and if we go back to the one of the big mission and vision of the board is to protect consumers, not to make the lives of licensees easier. And sometimes that doesn't. Those aren't the same thing. But our number one goal is to protect consumers. And so if we want to make sure people have the ongoing continuing ed for that, which is really hard to police in general. on so many levels. So,
We've already made significant concessions.
mhm.
And I am exactly going to talk about this in just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna do a vote. Do we have to vote on each individual one, or can we vote on all of them collectively without that continuing ed?
Modified.
It would be collectively, Mr. Chair, the motion would be a motion to file a permanent administrative order, including an amendment to the change proposed in OARA 33-080-041 as discussed, effective immediately.
Great. And that doesn't include the continuing education piece that we're peeling off.
Correct. That will be amended out when they are filed.
Okay. Can we get a motion for that?
I will move just as Todd described.
I second.
Great. And Rachel, do I have to do a roll call vote on this?
No, just do it.
Okay.
You do it. So.
So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right. I think, Todd, you're up again. Executive Director report.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your attention and your patience as we step through the rulemaking. Executive Director's report. First thing in there, I believe it's page 321 in your packet, is the financial situation. You'll see the board still hanging around the 4-month operating reserve, which is a little bit less than the state CFO would like to see. They generally point out to us they'd like to see 6. We don't see that changing anytime soon. We are trying to hold in reserve enough to make sure we can fund an additional investigator if that's approved in the 27 session budget, as well as still looking to help the state through a successful RFP to identify a licensing vendor and then be able to implement a new system, licensing system. And I can answer any more questions on that on the financial side. Then as far as projects, we seem to certainly be busy. One of our major projects, as you know, we share staff resources between 2 boards. And right now, a lot of our time is taken up with the Rules Advisory Committee for the Senate Bill 1547, the bachelor's level licensed behavioral health and wellness practitioners. That's been a pretty substantial project. We're getting ready to put that final rule package before the board. And beyond that, we will move. There are some projects that may be coming out of the Behavioral Health Talent Council. And so to refer back to the rulemaking, there may be some fairly significant work we do related to the Behavioral Health Talent Council. To include, we might be looking at doing some surveys to garner a little bit clearer perception of what's going on in the CE environment and the supervision environment as it relates to exams and everything as well. So that's where we're at this past month preparing for the budget. Our agency had to submit our budget last week, and that's a pretty significant project as well. It includes also submitting a strategic plan, DEI plan, and an affirmative action plan, as well as impact statements for all of our proposals. So we did get that in, met the deadline. And beyond that, we have one investigator who currently works for the Board of Psychology who is retiring sometime this year. So we are looking at, I will be working next week to go out with a requisition to fill that. We're going to double fill for a bit. We'll be bringing one of our BLPCT investigators over to help with the backlog in psychology, close that gap a little bit, train them on the psychology side. And then that BLPCT investigator will remain working psychology, and whoever we hire coming in will backfill on or not backfill, but will train on BLPCT. That's the only personnel changes we're looking at. I think I'll leave it at that and answer any questions y'all might have.
Tom raised his hand.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I was in the training platform, and it said that I was supposed to expire in September of 26. Is that true?
You're talking the
Is-
trainings expired at that time, like you had to complete them by
Oh.
then?
No, it was, this is what position I have, and this is when the position expires.
We will take a look in complete transparency. The Senate, when it sets its expiration terms for folks, hasn't always followed necessarily the exact wording of the statutes. So we go by what the Senate, I think I showed you as being good through 27, Tom, but I'll re-verify.
Okay, if you would, please. Yeah, thank you.
And I say 27, I only say that to say that next year we do have a significant number of BOPCT positions coming open. The upside is we didn't have to fill many this year. The downside is that multiple are coming open next year.
Thank you, Todd.
Yep. Thanks for the question. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. If there's no questions for me, then we could move on to Tom's report out of the Counseling Regulatory Board's annual summit.
Yeah. Tom, would love to hear how this year's regulatory summit went. Anything new, exciting? But you're muted.
Okay, then, thank you. So maybe share my screen.
Yeah, let me, I think I need to allow you to do that, Tom.
And Tom, you don't have 5 hours to do this, so
No, I'm just gonna basically, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
yes.
Okay, you should be able to share your screen now, Tom.
Okay. Hold on a moment. Here. Okay. Okay.
Here we go.
So, I have the, oops, okay, 1 second.
There we go.
Yeah. So, this was basically the slideshow. I'm just going to go through the slides very, very quickly. Okay. So there's only 4 slides. So, this is what Jung Fan Ni and I need to minimize this because I can't really see it's in slideshow. Well, anyway, what does the name of this slide say? Or I mean, what's the title?
Growth Oregon population of BOPCT licensees.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So that was what we showed them. And then what does this one say? I'm sorry.
5-year history for licensee and investigations.
Okay. And so you can, they had an opportunity to look and see, oh, wow, that's a lot. And then here,
Oregonians per BLPCT licensee.
okay, that's excellent. And this one?
New licensees by year, 10-year history.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just to clarify, Tom, this is a presentation that both you and Chung Fan did at the Counseling Regulatory Board Annual Summit last month.
That's right. That's right. Okay, how do I stop? Okay, stop sharing. All right, very good. And so basically just a few words about this. There were throughout that slideshow, there's a couple of things, okay? Well, licensees increased from 5,000 to 9,000. And this represents an approximate 75% increase in licensees. Okay, so at the same time, investigations increased from 101 to 305. So on the other slide, it says, okay, this is kind of a double-edged sword when when the profession doubles, the board often has to have, well, more applications, more renewals, more supervision reviews, more continuing education audits. And it goes on. There's more complaints, there's more investigations, there's more disciplinary actions, there's more legal consultation. And it goes on and on. And the bottom line is basically that the Oregon data tells an encouraging story. More counselors are serving more people than ever. Yet the data also reminds that the growth carries responsibility, and a profession can only sustain the sustainability if the public trusts grows with it. And licensing boards are the guardians of that trust. So our challenge is ensuring that the quality, accountability, and public protection scale alongside the profession itself. So that's, basically in a nutshell, what we did and talked about. And then there was everybody at this table. Oh, there was probably 130 people there. And within that, every individual had a card, a little feedback card. And after the presentation, they shared their feedback because they're all licensing boards from, 2 from every state. And you guys had an opportunity to share that. I don't know if I need to go through that, but I typed up a document because they were all in handwritten things, and I wrote it verbatim from what they said. Did anybody look at that?
This would have gone out for the boards in the second additional public session.
Yeah, it was in the last one that just went out a couple days ago. So,
That was the notes.
pardon?
Was that the notes?
Well, it was the feedback notes.
Yeah.
Page
Yeah.
5.
Anyway, it's there, and I don't really need to go into it. Some of it was pretty good. There was a lot of very thoughtful people there, people who do all of this in their own way or experiencing it themselves in their own state, or it was difficult for them to relate to it because they just have a small operation and they couldn't relate to it, etc. And that's all I've got.
Great. Thank you, Tom.
If you have any other questions about it, definitely let me know.
Well, Tom, was there anything else from that conference that you and Chung Fan went to that you were like, oh, this is really big coming up? Because, whether that was the compact or anything like that.
Sure. Well, Greg, the guy that's the compact guy, he always has something to say. But it wasn't really the theme. The theme of the whole conference was supervision. And one of the takeaways that I took with me was it's like the behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz. Unless the curtain comes back, you have no idea what's going on in somebody's supervision. And it's such a critical part of somebody being deemed appropriate, or are they, I think today somebody said, how many of those supervisors are having the difficult conversations that really need to take place? I don't know. It's behind the curtain.
It is behind the curtain. It's different than many other fields, right? Had a family member who recently had surgery. Was a resident in the surgery. The resident is there with the doctor, and there's that supervision is direct. It's not they go to another room and do the surgery and then hope it turns out well. It's much different than the counseling field, where I would say 99% of the time we're not in the same room with our supervisees. So a lot happens behind the curtain, right?
Yes. And the supervisees are not necessarily bringing up, I had this session the other day, and it just seemed like it was on the razor's edge of reporting, and do they have those, we just don't know what conversations they're having.
Yeah.
And it's shrouded in confidentiality, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay. Well, thanks for letting me share.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
Okay, we have, looks like 2 petitions.
Mr. Chair, this is Todd. If I might, before the board discusses the predetermination petitions, we neglected to get a document in there that I'd wanted it was presented to the board in the previous meeting where it discussed the predetermined petitions. Since these are new, it was to give folks an idea of what we're looking at. We didn't get it in this packet, so briefly, I just wanted to go through some of the points for folks who may not have been in the previous meeting when that was covered. So these predetermination petitions are new. In 2024, the legislature created that process for potential applicants with a history of criminal convictions to petition the boards in advance of their application just to see if their criminal convictions would prevent them from being licensed by the board. The stated intent is that you have somebody who might be wanting to start a program. Say somebody might want to get in a master's program and become licensed with the board, but they're worried if their criminal history presents a background or would present a challenge. Prior to this, they had no choice but to do the program, graduate, apply, and then find out from the board. This petition lets them ask the board, does this conviction today, would you deny me a license based on that? So what I wanted to highlight for the board is the statement was, prior to beginning an education, a training, or an apprenticeship program for an occupational professional license, a person who is convicted of crime may petition a licensing board, commission, or agency for determination as to whether a criminal conviction will prevent the person from receiving an occupational professional license. These petitions are generally publicly available records. That's why you're seeing them in public session, not in executive session. And the board's predetermined deliberations are conducted in public session. So after deliberating, the board must either grant or deny the petition. It's important to keep in mind, if the board grants the petition, you are not guaranteeing that you will approve a license later, because the individual submitting a petition based on solely the information they're providing in this, I might have this conviction. Years later, they might graduate, they might apply, and might say, oh, I have these other convictions. There's going to be additional information. So, similarly, if the board denies the petition, the person can still complete their educational program and apply to the board at a later date. Again, there's examples where that might be appropriate. Hey, I just got out of prison yesterday. What do you think about my conviction? That's different than, hey, I've been clean, I've been sober, I've been out of trouble for 10 years, and I'm applying again. So hopefully that makes some sense. There's a lot of structure around these. It does not take away, it actually doesn't it doesn't take away or add to the board's authority to approve or deny a license. What it is an attempt to indicate to an individual, based on what we know today, this would or would not be a disqualifier. Hopefully that makes sense. And Rachel,
So,
if I've misstated something. Okay.
So nothing in stone. It's just kind of an educated guess to kind of give them a direction. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's a great idea. It's kind of good for people to know ahead of time which way the board is leaning, even though the board's going to change in the next couple of years. We're constantly in and out with terms and stuff like that. So I'm showing petition number 225.
There's 200 and 225. 200's on the first packet, 225's on the second. And so I'll just give a quick synopsis of this. So with this petition number 200, the petitioner disclosed 3 misdemeanors. They provided the necessary documentation required by rule. They also provided letters of support from various professionals. And the details of the charges are in your packet.
So for 200, has anybody seen any big red flags? Looks like it was 10 years ago.
Ms. Bryant, no, I didn't. I think that the circumstances around this in the first place sound to be quite unfortunate. For our purposes, with regard to licensure, I see no reason to hold back, and I would allow the petition.
Yeah, I would be in favor of allowing the petition for 200.
Same.
Yep.
Same.
We have a concurrence among the three members in the room, and I'm sorry, I wasn't watching the screen. I heard from Brian, Daniel, Tom.
I concur with the rest of the board. I think everybody deserves their chance.
Okay, then we would be looking for, I don't know, I'm not trying to do your job, Michael.
Yeah, we would be looking for a motion to allow the petition.
This is Brian, I so move.
This is Tara, second.
All those in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Great.
Next up is petition 225. The petitioner did disclose a felony conviction from 1997 and then 3 other misdemeanor convictions. And you have all the details in your packet.
Yeah, most recent misdemeanor 2020. Any questions, comments, concerns, red flags? It really helps when I hear from the petitioner. You know, they wrote up, you know, explaining themselves, not giving excuses. I don't generally take it as excuses, but kind of understanding what life events are going on at the time, what they're going through, whether it's addiction or abuse or whatnot. So lots of factors that led to these arrests and convictions.
So allow the petition.
All right, we're looking for a motion to allow the petition then.
This is Tara, I so move.
I'll
I second.
We have a second and a third. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? I don't work in the addictions field at the moment. I have a lot of coworkers who do. And the feedback I hear from them at times is, you know, some of the best addictions counselors they know went through addiction themselves and have convictions in their past and a long history. And not everyone has to have a history in addictions to work with addicts, but you know, just like other types of things, whether there's abuse or stuff like that, being able to connect and understand where people are at. So we definitely don't want someone's past to prevent them from getting into the field, with some exceptions depending on what the past is. But yeah, I'm glad people are wanting to get into the field even with a past. So great. Any board committee updates? You know, Consumer Protection Committee, we meet in the off months of these board meetings, and then bring those to the full board for final vote. Anything for the Education Committee? I know 2 of the members are absent today, but there's always stuff going on that you guys are working on and towards. So thanks for the
I'm gonna go on Monday if anyone wants to come say hi. 3 o'clock on Zoom.
3 o'clock on the.
And we are going to need a replacement for Chung Fan, who has turned off the bulletin. No longer be on that committee. So if there's a board member who would like to be part of that committee, please let myself reach out to Daniel know, and we can get you on there next board meeting.
And Todd, do we have to have is there a minimum number of people on a committee? I mean, I know it's best practice to have at least 3.
I hesitate to answer. I don't think there's a statutory and probably not even a rule around having 3. 3 is a good number to avoid ties. I
Yeah.
think the only requirement we have is to have, if the board has a private or a public member, we must have a public member on the CPC.
And we typically
we-
recommend. We typically recommend the board not have a subcommittee of 4, because in order to meet, you have to have a quorum, which means 3 of you have to show up. So we
Yeah.
recommend the subcommittee be 3, so a quorum is 2.
Mhm.
If another board member wants to attend as a guest, of course, they're free to do so, but it just helps with complying with the public meetings law.
And if there's only 2 on the committee, a quorum would be 2. So, we couldn't have an absent member. So
So in this case, there'd be an opening on the Education, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
and as far as I know, Tara and Lori are planning to be at the meeting on Monday,
Yes.
so it'll still happen. Anything else on board committee stuff? All right. How about, I see that Bree, you have been with us throughout the whole public session. Thank you for bearing with us. I know it's super exciting stuff that takes place here. But anything from Oregon Counseling Association? Any updates or things? For those of you who don't know, I think, is it you're president of the Oregon Counseling Association, chair? President. It's president. Yes.
Hi. Yes, so I'm the president of the Oregon Counseling Association. A little bit about what's going on over here is that we are kind of doing some preparation for the ACA to be in town. We're also prepping a mini conference. So usually we do our conference in the fall. However, last year we kind of struggled to kind of get it off last fall, and we did one in the spring that was actually our most well-attended conference. So we might actually keep it in the spring. However, this year we might not, given that the American Counseling Association is in town and they're doing their national conference here in Portland this year. So we are currently in contact with them and kind of networking about how we can be of support, as well as how they can help advocate with us as well. There's also some other things going on. I think that there was conversations with COPACT about obviously not the counseling compact, but there is something for MFTs, I think, that's emerging, and that might be of interest to look into. That I think we're looking into, I'm not sure. But the big things are preparing for ACA, a mini conference on the horizon, and kind of connecting with COPACT about what they're looking at with a kind of compact that's happening with LMFTs. Oh, and also, I just lost it. It'll come back to me in a second. There's things happening. There are things happening. We're also updating our bylaws. That's the big thing. We're also updating our bylaws. Our bylaws have been a little crusty, is the nice word to kind of use. They've been a little bit outdated. So we're kind of updating them to be in compliance, as well as to allow for things like the creation of a scholarship, given what's happening administratively to students, and being able to support them and pay for their schooling, especially those that are marginalized here in the state. The other thing will come to me, but yes, we're doing things. And I just met with some of your people yesterday to kind of hear a little bit about what you guys are doing. I also think it's a good idea to hold off on that vote, given that I don't think a lot of people know about it, but I think that a lot of people would be upset. I could care less, honestly, neutrally about it, but I know that it would make people upset. And I know that you want to make sure people are heard, so please take that time. As well as I just know that there's a lot of issues professionally, and I hear a lot of emphasis on community and like protecting the community, and I think that that's amazing. But I also am curious if the clinicians know that that's the priority, because I think a lot of people are under the assumption that you are supporting us. And I think that the closest comparison I think that you guys might be like is HR. And in HR, you have to balance both, I would think. So I
Yeah.
think that people are under the assumption that you are here for us as counselors, but I'm hearing more of an emphasis on here for community. I wonder if that would be helpful to also be known on a public level. Because I think that there's maybe a lot of pressure that you guys are experiencing because counselors are thinking that you are primarily here for us.
Well, I would say it's both.
So it is the HR both.
Well,
Like-
it's to protect consumers and also protect the profession, right?
Right.
So do no harm.
Yes.
People are trained. I couldn't put my sign up at my office and say Daniel Reeser hairdresser because I'm not licensed as that. And so that's to protect hairdressers, right? So we're protecting the counseling field as well. One of the big things, I'm entering my 7th year on the board, and one of the big struggles is, talking to colleagues and they have no idea what goes on at the board level. They don't read the newsletter. They're not aware of up and coming things that are being voted on, not just like the stuff we did today, but I'm talking like at the state level, like the Senate, the legislature, those kinds of things. And, I'm like, did you read the newsletter? And they're like, nah, I don't open those emails. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's where you learn about what the board does and what's being done behind the scenes. And so, I don't know if there's a way that the Oregon Counseling Association can help us get the newsletter out. Like, hey, members, make sure you read the newsletter. It just came out, like, really good article by Chung Fan, or, those kinds of things. Because it's really good information, and it's pertinent to what we're doing in the field. So would love to partner with you guys in that way for sure.
Yeah. Would you like to come to one of our meetings?
Oh, me?
Or the conference as well?
Possibly.
Okay.
Because
I think that as someone who is just a little bit about me, because I don't mind being a little braggadocious, I'm in a doc program. I work for OHSU as a clinical supervisor in a culturally specific clinic. I am the Western Region Chair elect, so I will be helping with the ACA level. As part of Chi Sigma Iota, I do a lot. So in a sea of emails, this might be one that slightly gets passed. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that others are possibly as busy or maybe as overwhelmed by their emails. But I think about students who are overwhelmed by their emails, possibly trying to be aware of what's happening. I think about associates who are possibly overwhelmed by their emails. Mm-hmm. And if there is no other avenue to connect, aside from maybe calling or reaching out physically themselves, I do wonder about putting your faces out more as well. So if you would like to come to a conference, we'd be welcome to have you as well. If you'd like to attend our meetings, we meet every other Saturday or every few Saturdays. Not every few Saturdays, but I think it's like we're meeting in September and then we're meeting again in November. So every 2 months. We meet every first Saturday of every 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, that would be something we'd love.
Yeah, I'd have to talk with Todd and Larry and Rachel a little bit because representing the board, it would be more of a, hey, here's some information. It couldn't be this is what the board thinks. It would be really hard for one board member to speak for the entire board, versus, hey, this is what's going on at the board level. This is what the board does. This is what we don't do.
I think even that would be helpful because I don't think a lot of people know. Like, there's questions that people ask us, and I'm like, that's a board question. Mm-hmm. Here is how to connect with them. Like, some people have been coming to us, truthfully, thinking that we have some board-related answers, and we do not.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of information on the website about the board. It's an antiquated website, but there is information on there. And yeah.
Mr. Chair, this is Todd. Just to let you know, the psychology board and staff have attended the Oregon Psychological Association conference the past couple of years, so we do have some experience in that and could assist the board with that presence. And again, we've had Rachel there, so we've got some experience navigating the yes, we're not going to make legal statements by the boards or give legal advice, but we have been able to explain the generalities of the complaint process that seems to come up. And it's clear to me in this discussion there is some confusion around the role of the board. The board has some pretty narrowly defined statutory roles that it can't come out of. And we generally say we regulate the profession and the association advocates for the individuals. That's generally how we explain it. And it probably would be helpful maybe to be able to get that message across.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you for that. It's great having you here.
Thank you for having me.
And you didn't fall asleep. I watched you a few times. Like, oh my gosh, your eyes are open. I'd be asleep right now. And Paul.
Oh, I am multitasking.
Paul always stays awake at our meetings, so that's a good.
We're up.
Great. Well, there's no members of the public, unless Paul, you have something you want to say.
Yeah, I would like to say too that it is very common for people to mix up the association and the board. The most frequent question I get is, well, Mr. Cooney, since you work for the board, are you really on my side? I'm like, no, I'm always opposite the board. I'm friendly with them. I like them, but no, there's a lot of misunderstanding about the roles. And I think attending the conference as kind of a board liaison or members of the board showing up and kind of doing like a presentation that Tom did can be very helpful because I don't think they know how many complaints there are. I mean, my desk is completely swamped, and so obviously everybody else's is swamped too, but it can put a face to the board. And just talking about how you approach investigations, what trends you're seeing, those kinds of things may not be super well attended sometimes, but it's just another avenue for people to get out there.
Yeah.
And I think the more information that is out there, the better, because of the misunderstandings. People just make snap decisions or judgments on things. And if they knew kind of what was going on, they would have a better idea. So. Yeah. Plus, it would also be, hey, we have openings coming up. We have a whole bunch of positions coming up. If you want to be on the board, now's the time. And so.
Yeah, a good recruitment. Well, one of the misconceptions is like that we just hand out so much punishment, right? Discipline, and it's like actually we dismiss a large majority of complaints that come in.
No, that's due to only to me.
Yeah. Yes. We
love the dismissals. We'll take those all day long. I love making those phone calls on Friday afternoon saying, hey, the board did the right thing. But you do so much more than just the sanctions.
Personally, I'd rather dismiss everything if we could, but it's the things that we can't that get voted on to have discipline. So great. Well, thank you for that. Anything else from anybody? I think that just might about cover things today. So
thank you, Paul and Brianna, for coming.
Yeah.
No problem.
So this public session, the meeting of the Board of Licensed Professional Counselors and Therapists will be adjourned at 4:18 p.m. Thank you all very much.
Okay, bye.